Awesome.
So we'll need
Well,
to let
we can get started since we've got so many scripts.
Woohoo!
Okay, how many of them are by Draco?
One.
That's
no.
it?
That's it.
Huh.
Well, first off, we're starting with John Lamont's retool of The Photographer. Since The Photographer got cut, it's now just called The Untitled.
Okay. I don't think I remember the tool in the first place. So yeah, let's go.
No, he
All
said
right.
retool.
Yes. Well, I don't remember. I don't know if I remember it from the first time.
All right, John, who's narrating?
You can narrate.
Interior, Greg McMullen's office day. Autumn Jane, mid-20s, stands by an elaborate electric fireplace examining golf memorabilia on the mantelpiece, including a set of solid gold golf balls signed by the last 6 U.S. presidents. She wears a half-sleeve rib-fit polo with buttons undone, giving a deep V look rounded out with pleated miniskirt, tennis shoes, and crew socks perfectly suited to blend with the lifestyle as required by her employer, Serenity Valley Golf and Country Club, the logo of which is neatly embroidered on a polo across her first name, embroidered in cursive. Autumn looks around the office in anticipation of the manager's return. She glances at her purse sitting on a posh chair by the fireplace. Greg McMullen returns to his office, smiling, finding Autumn has already let herself in.
Danny, why don't you do Greg?
Autumn, good of you to come by.
You're the boss. You call, I answer.
That's right.
I didn't know you wore glasses.
Autumn nervously pushes back the glasses, which gives her a cute, chic, and nerdy look.
My contacts were bothering me today.
Please have a seat.
Autumn sits in one of the guest chairs across from his mahogany desk. Greg sits on the edge of the desk looking down at her. His view gives a straight shot through her unbuttoned polo to her cleavage and a peek at her lacy bra underneath.
I want to discuss your recent performance review with Sasha. I must say, she speaks highly of you.
Thank you. Sasha is a complete sweetheart. I love her to death.
In fact, I think you can do more than just be a greeter. I could see you a concierge to some of our high-level clients.
Autumn perks up.
Really? Wow. I was really worried about the next semester's tuition costs. That would really help. I mean, if you meant that sooner rather than later.
Greg smirks. Leaning in, his hand finds its way to Autumn's knee, fingers lingering on the inside of her thigh.
Red flag. Red flag.
And this is a John Lamont script, so you don't know where it's going.
She turns into a gremlin. Red flag,
well,
red flag.
This is a John Lamont script, so it ended up here real fast. What was the line?
All I'm saying is he's giving you an opportunity to move up in this organization, you know?
Hashtag me too.
Yeah. Did we deliver Greg's
We did,
line?
in fact, deliver the line.
Okay. Autumn ignores his hand, smiles oblivious to his advance.
What about Sasha? She has seniority over me and has been here for ages.
And this requires a question mark because it is, in fact, a question.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah. What about Sasha? Yeah.
What about Sasha? Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't put that.
Well, I was pointing out to John that was
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Greg leans in further, his hand sliding up her thigh, gauging how far she's willing to go.
Sasha's great, but she doesn't bring to the table what you do.
Autumn looks down at Greg's creeping hand, then back at Greg.
Well, I'm certainly willing to prove myself.
That's my girl.
Greg's hands.
Yeah.
Greg's hand creeps further. All right.
What?
I don't know. Autumn looks down again. Then
Oh,
back
hold on.
Greg.
Is this post-apocalyptic? Is everyone a mutant? That would be
He has
fun.
3 hands.
Her expression drops.
Mr. McMullen, I wouldn't be asking for any quid pro quo, are you?
That depends.
There we go.
Near.
Autumn stepping backwards. Greg doesn't lift his position, but leaves his hand on her thigh until she backs up out of reach.
Can I a day or two to think about it? I mean, I don't want to do anything too hasty.
Greg smiles. He has her.
Does that mean like can I have a day?
Yes, there's a missing word.
Okay.
Yeah, John's bad with words.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I am very bad with
Typing
words.
with only one hand.
Yeah.
Oh, ow. Ear. See, red flag, red flag.
There you go.
Of course, but if you decide not to accept my offer, this conversation stays between us. Right?
Autumn backs up towards the fireplace, grabbing her purse.
Yeah.
Autumn exits the office. Autumn closes the door behind her, gripping her purse tightly. Greg's secretary, Alice, an older woman, looks up at Autumn.
Do I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is everything all right, dear?
Autumn removes her glasses, giving Alice a cheeky smile.
Never better.
Hey, why is Diane reading all of the female lines?
I don't know. I just asked.
Because
I asked.
She's a female?
That's sexist.
Sure.
Would you like me to read for Alice?
There you go. Does
Yes.
Alice have more lines?
No, she doesn't. She's
Then-
Then it doesn't matter.
That's a meaningless, empty offer you made. Enter.
That's also sexist.
Then I will read for Frankie when she shows up on page 5, I think.
Okay. Enter elevator day. Autumn holds her composure until the elevator doors close. Then she lets out a long sigh.
Delta, tell me you got all that.
Of course, baby. Did you ever doubt me?
I'm on my way up.
Hotel suite day. Autumn lets herself into a hotel suite with a master key. Delta, a 14-year-old math prodigy with a massive crush on Autumn, downs a can of liquid death while cutting video footage of Autumn's interview from the video feeds hidden in the glasses, which can pan between Greg's face and his hand, and a wide angle of the room from the chair on a high-end gaming laptop.
Two things before we continue.
Yes.
One, that's not how you spell prodigy.
Okay.
That's how you spell protege.
Protege.
That's why spell check didn't catch it.
Yes. Yeah.
And second, liquid death is water. You know that, right?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I only just found that out. But it's like
water?
it's water in a badass can.
It is definitely a very cool can design.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
just water.
But I don't know why you should pay $6 for water.
Because it's liquid death.
It will kill you after a couple of
Yeah. If you drink enough of it, you'll die.
You'll die.
No, it's supposedly it kills your thirst. That's their
Well,
tagline.
is it from Flint? In
No, it's
Michigan?
supposed to like you can get like water poisoning. Not poisoning.
Yeah.
No,
Yes, you can suffer water intoxication and
Water
eventual death.
intoxication. Yeah.
But you got to drink a lot of liquid death. for
Yeah,
that.
for a lot of that.
Sorry, and
Um,
also he's 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to drink
Cool.
water out of a fucking bottle
Well,
of plastic?
whatever.
You
Yeah,
can
Well,
like-
I'm delivering these lines wrong then. But anyways, nothing to fear when your boy Delta is here.
Autumn drops the purse and glasses on the table where Delta is working.
Wow, that's sharp.
I told ya.
Delta takes another chug of liquid death.
If you want to hang out, I'll be done in about 15. Then we can celebrate.
Can't. I got to get back downstairs before I'm missed. Just get that video cut and make sure that Mrs. Mulligan gets her anonymous link.
If Mal finds out,
He won't. Besides, whatever happens between the asshole and his wife won't have any effects on that. Won't have any effect on that.
Is that the wrong
Uh,
effect?
Yeah.
I
that's
always
not
get
the
the-
problem with that line, John, is that it doesn't make any fucking sense. That's what-
Yeah. And that's why it's kind of
Oh,
like, yeah.
It's not
Okay.
supposed to yet.
Okay.
It's implying something.
Uh-huh.
It's not telling you what it is yet.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh,
effect, not affect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I think
Especially-
it's effect. Affect is referring to kinds of emotion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Effects happen after causes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
that's what I was thinking. That's
Yes.
what I was saying. Especially if you don't let it leak.
I'm sure it'll come out in the divorce.
Oh, and we'll be long gone when that happens.
Interior Serenity Valley Country Club lobby day. Autumn strides into a massive rotunda crowded with guests. Some wait to be taken to the golf course. Others, checking in at the front desk. Guests and employees greet her by name as she's popular and loved by all. Autumn takes her place behind the front desk besides Frankie, 20s, dressed same as Autumn, but with her own name embroidered on the company polo, putting up her name plaque.
Next guest.
As a middle-aged couple approaches,
So, how did your date go?
Autumn gives Frankie a look.
Delta is way too young, and like I told you, I don't date the little brothers of my friends.
God, he's got you calling him Delta now?
Autumn turns to her guests.
Name, please.
John and Mary Smithers. A totally not loaded name that's not memorable in the least.
Yeah.
It's I am Mr. and Mrs. Genericson.
Yeah.
Smithers?
Smithers.
Well, I was going to call her John and Mary Smith, but then I just came up with Smithers instead.
There you go.
Come up. Don't use Smithers.
Wayland.
Eric.
Wayland Smithers.
Oh.
What the hell's wrong with Smithers?
Autumn.
It does.
The
It doesn't
obvious
matter.
thing,
It's generic extra 1 and generic
it's not a
extra 2.
generic name.
Autumn types on the keyboard.
Yes, I see you've booked our Elvis suite.
She continues on the computer, then produces the key card.
Here you go.
Thank you very much.
That's imitating. So,
Thank you very much.
No, it's imitating Elvis Presley. It's supposed to be thank you very much. You know,
Oh.
it's going into the Elvis suite. This is Elvis. Right?
Thank you very much.
You could say Elvis imitation.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was obvious, but you know what? For Danny, I will totally change it.
Autumn waits until they're gone before rolling her eyes at them. Frankie finishes checking in her customer.
I meant your other date.
He was a perfect asshole, and Delta came through like a champ.
My brother would give up video games if you asked him. You shouldn't encourage him.
Me? You brought him into this.
Just then, Javier, late 20s, dressed in a casual suit, enters with another guest. They shake hands. As the guest exits, Javier approaches the counter.
I just got a text from Mal. He'll be here in 20.
Good timing, Maestro. No,
That's John.
Good timing. My shift is almost over.
You think Sasha will give me lunch early?
After just disappearing for the last 10 minutes?
I was with the boss. She can't argue with that.
Interior hotel suite dusk. Autumn and Frankie enter the suite as Delta finishes the render with his back to the door.
I knew you couldn't stay away.
He swing around, cutting himself off, seeing Autumn with his sister.
Swings.
But no, that's not what it says. It says
That's not what
swing.
it says. That's my...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Snot Rag. You don't get Autumn to yourself this time.
Whatever.
Bossy. Yeah.
Don't call me bossy.
Don't call me Snot Rag.
Don't make me turn this hotel around.
Knock, knock.
Sit.
Autumn grabs Delta by the shoulders, giving him back, or shoving him back in front of the laptop and putting his gaming headphones on. She grabs his phone, and seconds later, muffled music can be heard from the headphones. Autumn glances back to Frankie, who opens the door as Javier and Malcolm Riley Fortis, wearing slacks and dress shirts, enter.
Who's the kid? Tech support. You trust him?
I trust him. But let's keep him need to know. Okay.
Delta's perspective. Delta glances up at the reflection in the glass, watching as the others talk. Words spoken are muffled over the music playing in his headphones.
Reverse.
The four continue speaking.
Hell security.
Milo's right where I want him.
Between the sheets?
Javier shoots her a look.
Less he knows, the better for now. Like Frankie's brother. What? You take me for an idiot. Look, this is major. Thursday, a week from now, the world's richest elites will be here for their charity, Circle Jerk. And with Senator Jenkins attending, that means Secret Service.
All of club security has been told to remain hands off.
That's fine. Nobody should get near him. It just means that besides the $50 million bringing in additional security, so does a leading presidential candidate. We play this close to the vest, and that includes what we tell family. Delta will do what he's told, without question, even if he doesn't know why. He better.
He will.
Good. See you in class Monday.
You got it, Professor.
Malcolm exits the room. The other three exchange glances for a brief moment.
So, how are you going to get our security passes?
None of your business.
Javier's cell buzzes.
Gotta take this.
He flashes his phone to the others, his caller ID showing Matthew McConaughey.
You're joking.
Javier answers.
Matthew, how are you this afternoon? You wish.
Yeah.
Everything is set for your arrival tomorrow. The room you requested wasn't available, but I upgraded you to...
As the door closes, his voice trails off. Delta pulls his headphones off, turning around. Who's Delta?
Who was that?
Nothing. Javier's just bragging about bringing in a celebrity account.
No, the other guy.
Autumn smiles reassuringly.
Don't worry about it, okay?
Delta nods. Frankie forces a smile.
Pack your things, snot nose.
Sure thing, bossy.
As much as she hates it, hearing Delta call her brings her a sense of reassurance about the mission ahead.
I got to get back downstairs before Sasha regrets giving me that glowing performance review.
Delta finishes packing his laptop and gear back into his backpack.
I'm ready.
See you in class tomorrow, Frankie.
See you.
As the three exit, Autumn shuts off the lights and closes the door, bringing a darkness to the room. All right, that is our selection. Wow, okay. So, John Lamont, you're kind of going in some different. You like this doesn't say John Lamont script to me. I think you're missing like boobs. Yeah.
Boobs.
I mean, we did get some,
Underwear
but
shots.
yeah. I mean, we got some, but they're in like they're almost not gratuitous. I would say.
I mean, like it's actually part of the plot.
Yeah, it's part of the plot. I mean, you
Oh.
did a good job in that one.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah, look at you.
All
So
grown up now.
yeah, I know. I thought I did a good job.
Well, when I'm writing a script
Yeah.
for real people, you
Yeah.
know, I don't want to, you know.
Write a John Lamont script?
They might send it back. This is not what I've come to expect from you, Mr. Lamont. Dan, what do you think?
I think this is a vast improvement from the last one, with the photographer. This is the photographer, right? With the
Yes, without the photographer character because he got cut.
and all the other characters apparently.
Yeah.
All the other characters are also
We got
gone.
all the characters.
We
from the
got all.
original
Yeah, I
story.
thought it was just
Got a new plot, but it's a
And-
rewrite.
Yeah, it's as I said, I was working on what those characters were going to be doing, and when I
Okay.
decided what they were going to be doing, I then worked the plot backwards, and I couldn't get back to there, so I came
Okay.
back and ended here. So now I'm here, and now I'm going to go back forward.
Okay.
I'm still not entirely sure what's going on. Other
Well,
than
we get to construct it.
well, the thing is that I like it so far.
Mhm.
You at least have character. They have like I can at least tell like whose voice is who.
Mhm.
So that's nice. So yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I'm wondering why the 14-year-old's there.
We
but
get
hey.
to construct it. All right, Danny.
Yeah, it's definitely a John Lamont script.
All right.
You mean my type by my typos?
It certainly has some unpleasant sexual content,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
and it appears to have a
Part
plot.
of the plot. I'll give
Yeah,
him that.
I thought it was justified. I thought that was righteous sexual content. I felt like you know.
Oh,
Yes,
he's gonna
that
get
is.
caught, that's why.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that it was acceptable, but
Right.
it certainly starts off being way less acceptable and weird. But you know, it's the beginning of a movie. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then a lot of stuff happens.
So yeah.
Yeah. Constructives. Diane, you had some. Go ahead.
Still not entirely sure. Like, are they gonna be certain that such a thing is going to make him have a divorce? Like, they seem to be fairly guaranteed about that.
Yeah. My constructives are all right. You told me like we don't really have a page 11. I don't know. Well, I guess I would say we don't know where this story is really going. We have characters in a setting, but they haven't been really presented a conflict. There's no villain. There's no foreshadowing of a villain. They're hotel workers and students and. I mean, okay, but he hasn't really been set up to be a villain. Like I don't see.
He's an antagonist, but not a villain.
Is he? I mean, is he an antagonist?
Like
He's just
it's a red alert.
Don't interrupt Preston, Diane.
All right, he's just a perv. I don't know. Anyway, all right, Diane, what do you got?
Well, the thing is that it's true that I can't tell you a villain because this guy's. It seems like his case is one and done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It seems like resolved.
It seems resolved.
Yeah.
Now, assuming that the result of the divorce is going to happen, so I assume that they seem pretty sure about.
I mean, all right. So let's construct a plot here. Like, conceivably, the boss finds out about the video and then is now in like some kind of.
Can I stop you because you missed the plot?
Okay.
Plot was dropped.
No, I don't think. I'm going to give my constructives because miss the plot is certainly there.
That is my fault. If they miss the plot, that is my fault. Okay. I'm not saying.
So, I disagree with Preston. I don't like. I mean, I agree in the sense that there's no conflict, and I disagree that there's characters in a plot.
All right.
There's very little conflict, and there's very little unity of place. I mean, a bunch of this stuff happens in a hotel, except it starts off in a golf club.
Yeah.
And then the hotel is just on top of that somehow. And then
you're Canadian. I'm sorry.
And then like everyone's talking about school, and for some reason the staff uniform at a hotel is leggings and tennis shoes. What the fuck is happening? So yeah, not a lot of unity of place there, which is incredibly disorienting. As everyone talking about school, although you have the beginning of a plot, I'm pretty sure Mal is described as the person who's married to the person who was just catfished. And then, but also Mal is a he, so is the sexual abuser gay? What is happening? So that didn't make any sense. And maybe that's a spelling mistake, but you know, way to go. Your spelling mistakes have added confusion. If that was a spelling mistake and I remembered it correctly. So like, you've got these lines of dialogue halfway through that recontextualize the very short previous portion in a way that makes it make less sense. Delta doesn't make any sense. And at the end of how many pages did we read? 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of our characters have a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. No, Diane, did you have anything else?
So yeah, missed the plot. I missed the plot because
I just missed the plot.
Incredibly disjointed.
I'm just like
It's
going
a
like
heist movie.
Huh?
It's a heist movie. I didn't get that.
I didn't get that
this is a
at
heist
all.
film. Yeah.
Definitely did not. This is not a heist movie.
I didn't get that at all. So
well, that's what the $50 million was all about.
Movie.
Unless they're trying to get like somehow this footage is like stolen later. So, is that what's going on?
This is a heist? Like seriously?
That's what I'm building to.
I don't know what would be stolen, but
the footage,
the $50 million that they were talking about.
Okay,
that's going to cause increased security.
Presidents.
Where was that?
They are probably also going to get stolen too. One of my
I mean,
potential working titles is
they're
All the
not
President's
an
Balls, but
unremarkable prop. They're in fact as remarkable as the name Smithers for your random guests.
Smithers.
The fact that you're laughing when Preston says that means you two have seen The Simpsons. And you can
Yes.
understand
I'm
that
just going like
Smithers is
Leland
not.
Smithers. That's
Yeah,
literally what
That's
I
a
thought of.
toadie's name.
Yeah, that's a toadie's
I don't know
name.
what any of that means.
You've never seen The Simpsons in your life.
Yes, I've seen The Simpsons, but so what?
Uh,
I was going to name him John Smith, and instead of naming him John Smith, I named him John Smithers. Who gives a
Alright.
crap about The Simpsons?
You know what I give a crap about? Rutger Osterhoff, who always has a great excuse for not being present because he's over there in Europe and it's
Yeah.
like really late or early or a totally different time. So of course he's not here. But
I think it's like 3 a.m. over there.
yeah,
right now.
something like that. But all right, so based on his interactions with us, he has taken his screenplay and now transformed it into a comic book format in the hopes of maybe putting together a comic Kickstarter someday. Who knows?
Oh,
So
that's nice.
I think this might be this is probably his first attempt at comic book. So
Okay.
Well, I'll read it then.
go ahead.
Page 1, panel 1, wide. Sawpit, Colorado. Prescott's basement, night. Why? This is all the caption? Oh my god, okay.
Well, no, I think
Prescott's
Prescott Basement Night is the caption, and then the rest is art direction.
Is it?
I
Sure it's
think
just
it
not
is.
bold? Okay, I'm going to assume this is all caption.
Okay.
Prescott's basement night, wide shot of the basement stairs. Jake and Karen descend the metal stairs, their figures backlit by a harsh light. Shadows stretch long across the walls. Chain link fences rattle from their footsteps, revealing prisoners in despair, cowering in cages. Megan and Catherine follow hesitantly, clutching their teddy bears. So, although this is a wide panel, that seems like a very large caption. I recommend instead using a drawing.
There we go. Jake, it's time you to learn how to rid society of its lowlifes.
Clank, clank, clank. Panel 2, medium shot of Megan and Catherine. I do not understand what these tags on the panels are meant to mean. Megan hugs her teddy bear tightly while Catherine begins to cry silently, tears streaming down her cheeks. That's how she begins to cry? Oh, we need a Megan
Go
and
ahead.
a Catherine, and they shouldn't be the same actor.
All right, I'll be Megan. What's happening?
Mommy.
There you go.
Panel 3, reveal shot of the basement. Rusted cages line the walls, holding young men and women who shrink away from the light. A large meat grinder sits prominently in the center of the room with blood-streaked dog food cans labeled Jake's Chow on a nearby table. The floor is filthy, streaked with dark stains. Karen sits on a stool beside the grinder, smiling chillingly. Drip, drip.
You'll learn soon enough, girls.
Okay, go ahead.
Panel 4.
Is that
Close
Catherine?
up. Is it a medium close up, which is actually a
Oh, it's
close up
Karen.
That was Karen, yeah.
of Karen's hands. So pick one. Turning the meat grinder crank with ease. Blood-stained flesh noodles slide out into a can. Karen's manic grin fills half the frame, the horror clear in her expression. Squelch, squish, grind.
Boy, this is subversive horror. Like it.
Panel 5. Is this page 1 still?
Yes, it is.
Cool. Wide shot of Jake at a workbench, methodically marking sections on a human leg with a thick black marker. Beside him, a table saw roars to life, sending sparks into the air. Megan and Catherine stand in the background, horrified and frozen in place.
Who's Jake?
I guess I'll be Jake. Precision girls, always measure before you cut. Bram.
Vern. Oh, sorry. That SFX wasn't labeled properly.
All right.
To condense page 2 into 5 panels while retaining its key moments, we'll combine or modify scenes to streamline the narrative and maintain tension.
That's
Who's
good.
that a note for?
I don't know. That's a note for him to do later. There we go.
All right. Page 2, which is not starting on his own page.
It is not.
Panel 1. Wide, a medium shot of the teenage girl huddled into a corner of a rusted cage, clutching a rosary tightly in her skeletal hands. Her frail figure is illuminated by dim, harsh light. Drip, drip. Wait, do we see what is dripping, or is the teenager dripping?
Ambient sounds of the basement.
Hmm.
No, we don't see what's dripping.
Okay. Panel 2, medium shot of Karen leaning toward the girl with a spoonful of human meat. Her unsettling grin stretches wide as she speaks.
Hungry yet?
Oh, there's more art. That's awesome. The girl trembles, shaking her head violently. Tears streak her dirt-covered cheeks.
Who's Karen? Are you Karen?
You deserve what's coming because you're a dirty sinner.
Panel 3. Wide shot of Megan and Catherine. They stand frozen in shock, staring at their parents. Catherine's teddy bear slips from her hand, landing in a small puddle of blood.
You're Jake, right?
Don't look away, girls. This is your legacy.
Thud.
This is dark stuff.
Panel 4. Wide caption. Austin Alley, same time. Wide shot of a homeless man huddled against a pile of garbage in an alley. He's wrapped in grimy newspapers, shivering under a torn blanket. Nearby, trash cans and bottles lie scattered. That's a really large caption, and this may also be better off replaced with art.
Salt.
There we go.
Salt. Oh, that's salt.
Okay, I am now officially done making formatting jokes, and I will stop.
All right.
Okay.
Panel 5. Wide shot of 4 punks entering the alley. Their looming shadows stretch across the walls, towering over the homeless man. The punk leader smirks, leading the group menacingly towards him as the man looks up, pleading.
Please don't hurt me.
Kick. Bang. Oh, look, there's some more art direction.
There we
Trash
go.
cans and bottles being kicked.
Okay, this is all the script we get.
That's plenty to talk about.
Yeah, that's 2 pages. We got 2 pages. All right, let's talk about 2 pages. It's creepy.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a
it's
lot.
certainly got some horror elements.
It has atmosphere.
Yeah.
It does have art direction with that. I love the descriptions actually.
Okay.
Also, how do we know, just out of curiosity, she's holding a spoonful of meat, human meat.
Yeah.
What denotes that it's human meat? Is it a finger?
I mean, that's a good question.
Nothing. The answer is nothing because it's not written in the art direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
There you go.
Like it's a nose.
So it's whatever the illustrator feels like drawing because it wasn't written in the art direction.
It was
Okay.
It was not in the work order.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a start.
Yeah.
It's a start, and awesome. Welcome.
Start, I'm gonna say it looks something like a comic script. So good job there.
Yeah.
It's a first go. You've actually tried.
Yes.
And you're doing your own formatting thing that seems to be helping you. So that's a thing that definitely should be done with comic strips because every single one is a letter to a single person. Also, there is something cool going on with your story, but we've seen this story before, so I think we still liked that bit last time. Or I did, anyways.
Yeah.
Now it's John's turn.
Yeah, it was definitely had a very visceral opening. I think it'll definitely stay with your readers.
That is an opening to remember.
Yeah. I
That's a
mean, if
memorable
I remember
opening,
the last Serial Twins correctly, it was about these 2 college-age girls who were a crime fighting duo and identical twins going to college, and I think they were getting framed for vigilanteism and violence, and they were concerned about that. This is, I guess, like the intro of where we're going to see him do that, or maybe it's going to go off in some other way. I'm not seeing the connection to the former serial twins, which suggests a radical rewrite, but who knows? We're only 2 pages in. But
I think I remember the creepy basement scene from some draft we read before.
Okay, yeah.
Like, it would have been ages ago, but like it didn't seem totally unfamiliar to me.
Okay. I mean,
I think the creepy basement scene was in flashbacks, but I do remember the alley scene because the alley scene was where it mostly started.
Yes, that's the part that we're already familiar with for sure. So we read that alley scene a couple times.
I think the creepy basement was in a flashback because I think one of the earlier ones was them in an orphanage, which I think was also another flashback.
No, I remember like the very, very first draft we read. One of them takes a shower, has a flashback to this creepy scene, and that was like, oh my god, it feels like a John Lamont script.
I mean, I don't really have a lot of construction. 2 pages in.
I mean, so far I like it. Yeah. Please write more.
All right, you, Danny.
You have some structural issues in your formatting. The main one being that all of your art direction should be in the same place. It should be before any of the dialogue happens, because different people in the process need to know stuff at different times. So you have to give all of your art direction, then give all of your sound effects, then all of your dialogue. It's captions, then sound effects, then dialogue, in case you were curious. And having... I don't think your structure is working. I don't think the forcing very large 5-panel pages is helping you with anything. I think you need a big splash page at the beginning. I think you need to like have bigger art for this horror scene or more story here. I do need to figure out a way to transition into the alley, possibly over a page flip, because doing it in the middle of a page is really disorienting.
Yeah, that was my comment.
Called Serial Twins, and then you've got 2 little kids in a room eating human flesh, and then suddenly there's just a homeless person being beaten up by thugs. That's you spent. I mean, I know you think it's only like 1 page here, but actually it's like 2 or 3 pages worth of time developing these cannibalistic creepy girls, and then you turn around and don't deal with that. So someone's going to read the first couple pages, then be like, well, what the fuck is this? And they're likely to turn it down, especially when they find out it's a high school drama. And I don't think you're putting your best foot forward if you try and sell something you're not going to deliver.
What, wasn't Silence of the Lambs a college drama?
You know, I suppose it was. That's how.
Yeah.
You know, that should have been top of mind. That's clearly the most memorable thing about Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah,
the college.
It's a college. Sure it is.
I was going to make a suggestion, which is Danny is correct. The alley scene needs to be on its own page. I would push that to. So I would start with this big splash page of them walking down the steps. The 4 of them coming down the steps is your page 1. It should be a big splash page. It's creepy. It's visual. It sets your mood. Then pages 2 and 3 should be all the stuff that happens in the basement. If you put them coming down the steps on page 1 and you put those 2 alleyway scenes onto page 4, that gives you plenty of time on page 2 and 3 to really go nuts with that basement and really develop it. And then once you get done with that at the end of page 3, and then you go to page 4, now we're in a new location and a new caption. I would add
17 years later, for example.
Yes, add a note that says many. I wouldn't say 17. I would say like several years later, even though it's way more than several. But I think if you do anything that way, we just know it's sometime in the future. We'll figure out how far in the future we are. I wouldn't spoil that right away by saying 20 years later. Just say like a few years later. But I would start that on page 4. A few years later, we're in this alleyway, and then boom, now we start the story. I think if you do that, you'll have your artist will have more room to work, and you'll have more room with those pages. And then don't be too cheap on your pages. Don't try to cram too much on a page. It never works out that way.
This is your first book. Don't over direct your artist. I mean, I know I go on a lot about, if your artist is good enough, but like, I feel like you're over directing here on panel size and like shots and all. Just say what happens. Because you might be pleasantly surprised. And I mean, I know you were posting random AI stuff earlier to try and like visualize things, some of which was creepier than anything I just read in that scene. You're over directing here. It's the same as if everything was you directing the shot and the camera movement in the action direction. It's going to make it difficult for you to find someone to do the work, and it's going to actually make it harder for you to get what you want. So like, just focus on what's actually happening and what's there in the scenes.
Yeah, don't try to over visualize on your first time. I mean, unless you can. Yeah, like I wouldn't rely too heavily on trying to like use AI art as references frame by frame. Not saying that you were planning to do that, but as somebody, and it's kind of funny because we were talking about this earlier, but sometimes it can be very limiting to if you give too much information and to your artist, it can actually be limiting because then they try to create that, and if that's not if it's not exact, it's weird to say if it's not exactly what you want because maybe it is, but I mean, I don't think AI could do exactly what it is that the way you're visualizing in your head. But I think I think it'd be too limiting. So I would advise against overly relying on that as specifically panel references, because I think it's going to end up hurting you more than it's going to help you. Because if you do something like that and you give that to your artist, and you tell them draw this, they're going to draw that, and that may not be what is actually needed or going to work in that scene. I know the few times I've actually tried using AI art references, I ended up never using it because I could never get the results nothing ever looked the way that I wanted it to. Like I go to AI and I say, I want you to make me a Magitech engine, an engine that uses magic and it just goes nuts and doesn't look anything like what I'm trying to look for,
Hey, what's a good way to get like what you actually want is stick figures.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll get you your composition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do
Also,
that.
stick figures is actually a version of a comic script that does work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could give us literal stick figures and we would read that as a comic script.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the majority of storyboards basically are.
Yeah.
It's just stick figures.
Yeah.
I mean, I work in film. I draw stick figures all day. Terrible. I'm not even good at it. And it's my job. And it's still good enough.
All right. Well, since your friend is not here, we have Dracus Knox's script Aetherbound Code.
Yeah, we're still running really early. We've only been here for 45 minutes. We're just going.
But we're on our third script.
Well, I mean, Rutger did us the favor of not giving us.
He did.
poorly thought out crap. So we appreciate you, Rucker.
All right, John.
All right, I'm gonna be back in just a second.
Oh wait,
Fill up this water
Whoa.
bottle.
there we go. All right. John can narrate.
He's drinking. Hold on.
Yeah.
What? Did you need something?
No, we did not.
I said you can narrate, but he's drinking at the moment.
Oh, do you want me to start narrating, or are we waiting for
Sure.
Danny to come back?
I guess we're waiting for Danny to come back.
Is Danny
Okay.
reading?
He did say he was stepping away from the keyboard for a second.
Okay.
He's probably checking up on his friend.
How about those Dodgers?
Yeah. I went to a Dodger game once.
How was it? Did they lose?
I think they might have. I realized, well, I knew going into it, baseball is kind of dull.
I love baseball movies. I hate baseball, watching an actual baseball game.
Yeah.
It's really, really boring.
Yeah,
Stop.
it's dull.
It's really, really dull.
Yeah.
I found out that, that is really dull. However, softball, man, they're like cutthroat.
Yeah.
So, softball is cutthroat.
All right, hey guys.
All right. John, why don't you narrate? Go ahead.
All right. Panel 1, panel layout. A large splash panel dominates most of the page. Wait, then it's not a splash page. Splash pages dominate all of the page.
Exactly.
With two smaller inset. Oh, so it's a John Lamont splash page. Okay. With two smaller inset panels at the bottom to focus on details. The splash panel immerses the reader in a world of aether, immediately establishing its vast, fantastical setting.
Hell yeah.
Panel
Wow, that
1.
was really specific. I know exactly what to draw.
Panel 1, splash panel. Description. A breathtaking view of Aether's skies. This panel shows an expansive, ethereal cloudscape illuminated by the golden light of twin suns. Floating islands of various sizes adorned with waterfalls that ascend into endless clouds hover in the distance. Some islands have ruins or small settlements perched on their edges. The Zephyr's Embrace, a sleek, mid-sized airship with elegant Aether-powered sails, and glowing runes along its hull soars through the scene. Aether trails shimmer behind it like ribbons of light. This perspective is wide, emphasizing the sheer scale and wonder of the world.
Sorry. It's Neverland.
Let's see. Text.
Text. Narration caption. In the boundless skies of Aether, where islands float on clouds and the wind carries whispers of forgotten ages, adventure calls to those bold enough to answer. Swoosh, the sound of the ship cutting through the air, faint but dynamic. Panel 2, bottom left. Description. A close-up of Zemphyr's Embrace. The glowing runes on its hull pulse softly with blue light, and one of its crew, a silhouette of a lookout, stands near the edge of the bow, scanning the horizon. Text. Narration caption. This is the realm of the Skyfarers, explorers who traverse the unknown on wings of courage and magic. Sound effects. Whirr. The ship's Aether engines humming faintly. Panel 3, bottom right. Description. Inside the ship, a glimpse of the crew's quarters. Arion, a young, wide-eyed rookie with messy hair and a patched uniform, sits by a small circular window. His posture is slouched, one arm resting on the window sill, his face lit by the golden glow of the outside world. He looks lost in thought, clutching a small, tattered journal in his other hand. Text. Narration caption. Among them is Arion, a lowly recruit with dreams too big for his rank and a secret that could change everything. Sound effects. Creep. The faint groaning of the ship's wooden interior. Page 2, panel layout. 5 panels with dynamic angles and framing to capture the ship's energy and the crew's personalities. The pacing accelerates as we move from Arion's introspection to the crew's lively interactions. Panel 1, top half, wide shot. Description. The Zephyrs embrace glides closer to the reader's perspective, revealing more detail of its intricate design. I don't know how we would see its intricate design in one of 5 panels, but okay. The deck is alive with
I'd like to glide closer to the reader's perspective in a panel.
The deck is alive with activity. Crew members are shouting orders, checking the rigging, and steering the ship through the aether winds. The captain's voice carries across the scene, commanding attention. Text.
This is Captain Bale, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it is. That's why I stopped reading.
All hands prepare for turbulence. We're heading straight into an aether storm.
Howl. The distant winds grow louder. Panel 2. Close-up of Arion. Description. Arion snaps out of his daze, looking up sharply. His expression is a mix of nervousness and determination. The journal he was holding slips slightly from his grasp. Text.
Arion.
An aether storm. Great. Another chance to prove I don't belong here.
Sound effects. Thud. The journal drops to the wooden floor.
By the way, just technical note, in comic books, we call an internal monologue a thought bubble.
I mean, I don't think now is the time for technical notes because we wouldn't have gotten so far.
All right, you're right. You're right.
Panel 3. Medium shot of Arion entering the deck. Description. Arion emerges from below the deck into the bustling main deck. The crew is scrambling to secure the ship as dark clouds swirl in the distance. A burly crewman, KL, the B-rank swordsman, notices him and shouts over the noise. Text.
Arion, quit gawking and grab the starboard ropes. If you're going to be useless, at least stay out of the way. What? Okay, if you're going to be useless, at least stay out of the way.
Sound effects. Clang.
Wow.
A crew member secures a metal latch. Panel 4. Dynamic shot of Arion grabbing the ropes. Description. Arion rushes to the starboard side, fumbling with the ropes as the wind begins to pick up. His grip slips slightly, and he struggles to secure the rigging. Another crewman, Ravenna, the mischievous inventor, smirks from a nearby station. Text.
Careful, Aaron. I don't want you to end up flying off the ship unless you've got wings hidden somewhere.
Sound effects. Whomp. The wind slams into the sails, causing the ropes to strain. Panel 5. Close-up of Arion's determined face. Description. Sweat drips down Arion's face as he tightens the ropes and steadies himself. Despite his struggles, there's a flicker of resolve in his eyes. Text.
I'll show them. I'll show everyone. I just need one chance.
Sound effects. Creep. The ship groans under the growing strain of the storm.
Does it creak every time he walks?
Yes.
Okay.
Page 3. Panel layout. 5 panels with escalating intensity and action. The focus is on the storm's effects on the ship and Arion's efforts to contribute amidst the chaos. Panel 1. Wide shot of the deck. Description. The storm looms closer with dark clouds swirling and flashing of aether lightning crackling in the distance. The Zephyrs embrace, rocks violently as the wind howls. The crew members struggle to maintain control of the ship. The glowing runes among the hull flicker as if reacting to the storm. Text.
Embrace yourself. No, just brace yourselves. All hands secure the sails. Arion, hold those ropes steady.
Sound effects. Crackle. Aether lightning arcs through the sky.
And whoosh.
Whoosh. The wind whirs, tugging at the sails and the ropes. Panel 2. Close-up of Arion holding the ropes. Description. Arion struggles against the force of the wind, his hands slipping slightly on the rough rope. His face is strained, but he grits his teeth, refusing to let it go. Text.
Come on, just hold steady. You can do this.
Sound effects. Gurk. The rope creaks under the strain. Panel 3. Action shot of the breaking mast.
Uh-oh.
Description. A loud crack echoes across the deck as one of the smaller masts snaps under the pressure of the storm. Splinters fly, and the mast swings dangerously toward the starboard side where a crew member is working. Text.
Dan?
Look out. Oh, yeah.
Sound effects. Crack. The mast breaks and swings downward. I feel like the action is happening like 2 to 3 times in each panel.
You're
Panel-
only saying that because it is.
Panel 4. Dynamic shot of Arian leaping into action. Description. Arian drops the rope and lunges toward the endangered crew member, pushing them out of harm's way. The broken mast crashes down where the crew member has been standing, narrowly missing Arian as well. Text.
Arion, what are you doing?
Sound effects. Thud. The mast slams into the deck. Panel 5. Close-up of Arion on the ground. Description. Arion is sprawled on the deck, breathing heavily with splinters and debris all around him. The rescued crew member is sitting nearby looking shocked. In the background, Ravina and Kael rush toward Arion, their expression a mix of anger and concern. Text.
Idiot. You could have gotten yourself killed.
Or worse, the whole ship. You can't just drop the ropes like that. I just wanted to help.
Sound effects. Whoosh. The storm continues to rage. Page 4. Panel layout. 5 panels alternating between the chaos of the storm and the mysterious activation of the artifact. The tension rises as the artifact begins to glow, hinting at its power. Panel 1. Medium shot of Arion standing up. Description. Arion struggles to his feet, holding his side where he was hit by debris. I didn't know he was hit by debris. Ravena and Kael stand nearby, arguing over what just happened. In the background, the storm grows fiercer, with flashes of aether lightning illuminating the dark sky. Text.
You're lucky that mast didn't crush you. What were you thinking? Letting go of the ropes.
Yeah, real heroic, Arion. Now we're down a mast and the sails are barely holding. I just couldn't let him get hurt.
Sound effects. Crackle. Lightning flashes across the sky.
The Pokemon was
Panel-
captured.
Panel 2.
Oh, that's where
Close-up.
Dan went.
Yeah.
Close-up of the artifact. Description. The artifact, a small, intricately carved orb with faint glowing runes, is tucked into a compartment near the captain's wheel. The runes and glow more brightly, pulsing in time with the flashes of aether lightning. Text. Narration caption. Deep within the Zephyrs' embrace, the ancient artifact stirs. Sound effects. Hum. A low, resonating sound emanates from the artifact. Panel 3. Wide shot of the deck. Description. The ship is rocked violently as a mass gust of wind slams into it. Crew members are thrown off balance, clinging to ropes and railings. The glowing runes along the hull flare brightly, matching the artifact's pulse. Text.
Hold on. The aether storm is intensifying with the ship's core.
Sound effects.
Or,
Whoosh.
no, sorry. Interfering with the ship's core.
Sound effects. Whoosh. The wind roars. Whum. The artifact's hum grows louder. Panel 4. Close-up of Arion noticing the artifact's glow. Description. Arion turns toward the captain's wheel, noticing the compartment where the artifact is stored. His expression shifts to one of awe and confusion as the artifact's glow becomes almost blinding. Text.
What is that?
Sound effects. Thrum. A deep pulse from the artifact. Panel 5. Action shots of Arion reaching for the artifact. Description. Drawn by the artifact's glow, Arion stumbles toward the captain's wheel. Lightning flashes behind him, casting dramatic shadows. As his hand gets close to the artifact, the runes pulse violently, and the glow intensifies, engulfing his hand. Text.
Arion, don't touch.
Sound effects. Zzz. The artifact reacts, sending a jolt of energy through Arion.
Oh, man. Rough.
Panel, page 5.
It's 3 pages per page?
Yeah. Yes.
That is so much.
That is a lot.
All right, we need to get Joseph in here to help read some of these characters.
Page 5. Panel layout. 5 panels alternating between the ship-wide impact of the artifact and Arion's personal experience. The tension peaks as the artifact's power surges. Panel 1. Close-up of Arion's hand on the artifact. Description. Arion's hand is engulfed in a radiant glow as the artifact's runes pulse and crackle with energy. His face is tense, caught between awe and pain, as tendrils of light coil around his fingers and up his arm. Text.
What is this?
Sound effects. The artifact crackles with energy. Panel 2. Wide shot of the deck. Description. The artifact's power surges outward, causing the runes along the ship's hull to grow brightly. The Zephyrs embrace lurches violently as the storm seems to respond, with lightning striking dangerously close. Crew members are thrown off their feet and chaos erupts across the deck. Text.
The artifact, it's destabilizing the aether field. Someone stop him.
Ravenna. Oh, I'm sorry.
Arion, let go.
Sound effect. Crack. Coom. A massive
Someone is
lightning
typing
strikes nearby.
madly. Is it
Yeah.
Probably
Joseph?
Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph is typing.
All right, sorry, Joseph.
Oh, so sorry. Didn't mean to. Hi, everyone.
That's
Hi.
You can
Panel
do that.
3.
You need to like mute your mic over there.
I thought the noise canceling this would do that for me, but now I know.
Panel 3. Close up of Arion's eyes. Description. A tight, intense shot of Arion's wide eyes, which are now reflecting the glowing runes of the artifact. His pupils flicker with light as if he's seeing something beyond the physical world. You know what? Whoever your artist is going to be, damn, he needs to raise. Text. I mean, that panel, like to pull that off, that's going to be an amazing piece of art right there.
Yeah.
Text, narration caption, and in that moment, the ether itself spoke to him. Sound effects, shrum, a deep resonating hum from the artifact. Panel 4, Arion's vision, abstract imagery. Description, an abstract panel showing fragments of visions, a massive phoenix-like creature, the beast of pride, roaring in the sky, glowing aether gates, the shadowy figures fighting among swirling storms. The imagery is chaotic and overwhelming, bathed in fiery gold and deep crimson hues. Text.
What is this? Who are you? Sorry, he's
You are-
whispering, so I'm trying. I'm just not going to whisper at my computer.
Joseph. Here you go, Joseph.
Role I was meant to play. Am I the mysterious voice?
Yes. The beast of pride.
You are chosen, little one. Bear my strength or be consumed.
Love
Very
it.
good.
Love it.
Sound
This is-
effects. Roar. The beast's roar echoes faintly. Panel 5. Arion collapsing on the deck. Description. Arion collapsed to his knees. The glow from the artifact fading slightly, but leaving faint, shimmering runes along his forearm. The crew rushes toward him, their expressions a mix of fear and confusion. Ravenna kneels beside him, shaking his shoulder, while Cal stands back, looking suspicious. Text.
Arion, what happened? Are you okay?
He's not okay. Look at his arm. What did he just do?
Sound effects. Whom. The artifact's hum fades to silence.
That's a very loud sound effect for silence.
Yes.
Page 6. Panel layout. 5 panels with a mix of close-ups and wide shots to emphasize the tense atmosphere and the sudden shift to new danger. Panel 1. Medium shot of the crew surrounding Arion. Description. The crew gathers around Arion, who is still on his knees, breathing heavily. The glowing runes on his forearm pulse. How do you do pulsing in a comic? I'm confused.
What? Everything pulses. Things move in every panel.
Yeah. The glowing
Like
runes
in all the
on
comics I've read, things move in every panel.
the glowing runes on his forehead pulse faintly before dimming completely. Ravenna is kneeling beside him while Kale stands nearby, looking on with a mix of suspicion and anger. Captain Valen approaches, his expression unreadable but tense. Text.
Well, am I Ravenna?
Sure.
Arion, what happened? What did you see?
Forget what he saw. What did he do? Look at his arm. He's marked. Enough. We don't have time for this. Focus on securing the ship.
Sound effects. Creak. The ship groans as it tilts slightly into the storm. Panel 2. Wide shot of the ship and storm. Description. A wide shot of the Zephyrs embrace, rocking violently in the storm. A sudden flash of light in the distance reveals another ship emerging from the swirling clouds, a pirate vessel, jagged and menacing, with blackened sails and glowing red runes. Text.
Captain, incoming ship port side.
Sound effects. Thunder crack. The storm rages, adding to the tension. Panel 3, close-up of the pirate ship. Description. The pirate ship looms closer, its cannons glowing with aether energy. The ship's figurehead is a snarling beast, and jagged lightning outlines its silhouette. Figures can be seen on the deck preparing for an assault. Text.
Should I do that?
Sure, go ahead.
It's the Black Corsairs! They're taking advantage of the storm!
Sound effects. Whir, the hum of the pirate ship's aether engines. Panel 4, medium shot of Captain Valen issuing commands. Description. Captain Valen steps forward, breaking orders with authority as his crew scrambles into action. Ravenna helps Arion to his feet in the background while Kael grips his sword, preparing for battle. Text.
All hands, battle stations on the cannon scale. Take point on the starboard side. Ravenna, get Aaron out of the way. This is no place for a rookie.
Sound effects. Alarm clangs. A bell rings as the crew readies for combat. Panel 5, close-up of Arion's determined face.
Hell yeah.
Description. A close-up of Arion now standing, but still shaky. Despite his exhaustion, his expression is filled with determination. He looks at the faint runes on his arms, clenching his fist as if resolving to prove himself. Text.
I won't just stand aside. Not this time.
No.
Sound effects. Boom. I lost it.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I just pushed a down arrow and I don't know what happened. We were on page something. We're on page 5, yeah. Was this?
God, we're still on page 5?
No, I think we're on page 6.
I think we're on page 6. You're right. You're right. You're right. Okay, here we go. He's marked. Okay. Oh, that's. But I just pushed it down there. Okay. It was weird. No place for a rookie.
A cannon. There we go. A
Not
pirate
this time.
cannon
There we go.
fires.
Boom. Yeah.
Boom. A pirate cannon fires, signaling the start of the attack.
Okay. There, I'll stick to the mouse wheel. Page 7. Here we go.
Page 7. Panel layout. 5 panels again, with a mix of wide and close shots to capture the chaos
Again.
of battle and Arion's internal struggle. Panel
Again.
1, wide shot of the 2 ships.
Again.
Description. Zembra's embrace and the pirate ship are locked. Wait, if the pirate ship has a name, why did we lose its name?
I don't
Are
know.
locked in a deadly standoff amidst the storm. Aether cannons from both sides light up the swirling clouds with bursts of blue and red energy. Lightning strikes in the background, illuminating the scene dramatically. Text.
Fire on my command. Keep them off our flanks.
Sound effects. Boom. Aether cannons fire from both ships. Panel 2, close-up of Kael on the deck. Description. Keel stands at the forefront of the starboard side, deflecting a grappling hook with his sword. His expression is intense as more pirate hooks latch onto the railing. Behind him, crew members ready their weapons for the boarding attack.
They sure do.
Text.
They're boarding us. Hold the line.
Sound effects. Clangs. Kael's sword deflecting the hook. Again. Panel 3, medium shot of Ravenna and Arion. Description. Ravenna drags Arion towards a safe spot below deck, her face a mix of frustration and urgency. Arion resists, glancing back toward the chaos on the main deck. Text.
Stay out of the way, Arion. You'll only get yourself killed up here. I can help. I just need to try.
Sound effects. Thud. Another cannon blast shakes the ship. Panel 4, close-up of Arion looking at his arm.
Again?
Description. Arion pauses mid-step, staring at the faintly glowing runes on his arm. His face shifts from uncertainty to determination as he remembers the artifact's power. Text.
Again. That vision, that power, I know it's still there. I could feel it.
Sound effects. Hum, a faint resonance from the runes, just audible to Arion. Panel 5, action shot of Arion
how could we
back
do
to the deck. Description. Breaking free from Renova's grasp, Arion sprints back toward the main deck. The storm rages around him, and pirates are now leaping onto the ship, clashing with the crew. Arion's expression is determined, even as chaos surrounds him. Text.
Go down. There you go.
Arion, get back here.
Sound effects.
Wait.
Crash. A pirate smashes through part of the railing as the boarding intensifies.
Oh yeah.
Didn't they just bring him downstairs? Now, what is happening?
Page 8. Panel layout. 5 panels, alternating between intense combat and Arion's growing connection to the artifact. Panel 1. Wide shot of the main deck. Description. The deck is chaotic as pirates board the Zephyrs Embrace. Kale fights at the forefront, slashing through 2 pirates with precise, powerful strikes. Other crew members clash with pirates using swords and makeshift weapons. The storm rages on, with lightning illuminating the fight. Text.
Don't let them reach the lower decks. Hold your ground.
Sound effects. Clang. Swords clash. Thwack. A pirate falls to the ground. Panel 2. Medium shot of Arion approaching the fight. Description. Arion steps cautiously onto the deck, his eyes as he takes in the chaos. He clutches the faintly glowing runes on his arm, his face a mix of fear and determination.
Again?
Again.
I don't know how this works, but if I don't do something, they'll all get hurt.
Sound effects. Boom. An aether cannon fires from the pirate ship, grazing the hull. Panel 3. Close-up of Arion reacting to a pirate charging at him. Description.
A pirate's charging at him?
A pirate spots
Well,
Arion.
that's a new panel. That's a new panel. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I said. And charges at him with a jagged blade. Arion stumbles backward, raising his arms defensively. The runes on his forehead begin to glow brighter, responding to his fear. Text.
Out of my way, runt!
Sound effects. Hum. The artifact's power surges. Panel 4. Action shot of Arion using the artifact's power. Description. A burst of golden energy erupts from Arion's forearm, creating a shockwave that knocks the pirate back. The glowing runes expand, forming a faint ethereal wings on Arion's back for a brief moment before fading. The pirate is thrown across the deck, slamming into a barrel. Text.
What the?
Sound effects. Boom. The energy blast spread outward. Crash. The pirate slams into the barrel. Panel 5. Close-up of Arion standing in shock. Description. Arion stares at his glowing arm, breathing heavily. His expression is a mix of awe and fear as the runes dim slightly. Behind him, Kay and Ravenna look on, stunned by what just happened. Text.
What did I just do? You just blasted that guy with Aether.
Sound effects. Crackle. The storm continues in the background.
Guys, we read 23 pages of this.
All right, sure, we can stop here. I guess the first 8 pages.
I mean, we don't have to.
It's pretty dense.
Well, he's repeating himself 3 times in nearly every panel.
Yes.
And then adding new action at the end of the panel. Yeah, I know.
Also true. Yes. Yes.
Criticism later.
All right.
Positives first.
All right. Let's see.
You always get my case on that.
This story has a protagonist who almost acts like a protagonist.
There we go.
And it has a hook.
Yeah.
And I'm not referring to the pirate hook, although that would be a funny joke.
That would be.
I was, in fact, referring to the artifact instead. So this is actually the beginning of a story.
I think comics is going to be way better for you, Draco, than film, because you have a ton of epic ideas, such as this one. But I remember some of your others, like last time we had like a big space epic battle, and these are all like things that are hard to do on a modest budget with a camera.
Mhm.
But you know, in comics, they can draw this stuff. So good on you for telling these big epic stories of space. No, in this case, floating
Never
cloud pirate ship,
Air pirates.
air pirates. Yeah, basically air pirates battles amidst a big magical energy storm. Hooray! I loves it. What do you think, Diane?
It reminds me of Never Neverland.
Is that good?
I mean, like, it's air pirates, it's cloud pirates in a fantasy outlet. It's I certainly like the descriptions that you have for Ether.
Ether, yeah.
It seems like every time as I'm listening to this, it sounds very steampunky. So for whatever reason,
It's very
is
Treasure
it a
Planet.
continuation of the.
I like Treasure Planet.
Yeah, I like Treasure Planet. My friends worked on that. I have a question. Is this based on the 7 Deadly Sins thing? Still?
I mean, possibly. We do have Pride.
We have Pride. That's what I was wondering.
Draco would have to actually show up.
But Draco would have to be here to answer a question.
To any of these and actually take the feedback directly to answer any questions.
Yeah.
So I'm that's what I'm questioning. I was wondering if this is a continuation of that. So that's all.
Well, we'll never find out.
Yeah, apparently not. And I'm also wondering, like, so they were supposed to capture Pride and
we'll never find out.
Seek them all out. I guess they found Pride. So,
Or did Pride find them?
I have no idea.
We'll never find out.
We'll never find out.
You'll have to order the comic to find out.
Yeah.
Really? And then we're just going to watch our protagonist go up and down stairs with big emotions on his face, standing there.
It's always constructive. It's always,
well, John and Joseph have to go.
All right, Joseph.
I got here pretty late, so I guess what I liked about it was that it was about pirates. That's cool. I haven't seen comics about that yet.
There you go.
And I want to add on top, Preston, you definitely hit the nail on the head on how grand and epic this was. This was the beginning of a pretty grand, epic adventure.
Yeah. All right, John.
Yeah, I thought the visuals in the world was rather interesting. I'm kind of a fan of the steampunky fantasy stuff.
By the way, Draco wanted you to know the answer was yes. So apparently this is related
to
the
seven
deadly sins.
Until he shows up.
I thought it was because if you looked at the feedback that we gave him last week when we said, what are the pirates and why are they all of a sudden here? So I have a feeling that he took from our feedback, our heroes are no longer pirates and they're these people on this ship and they're going for unity or whatever. And the pirates are showing up to create conflict. So I would say if I'm correct in that, then good on you for taking the feedback that we gave you last week and improving on that. These are these characters seem to fit more in the world and the story you're trying to tell than pirates in name only, which is what we had last week.
Danny, have you gone?
I have gone. I said this seems like the beginning of a story.
Yes. All right. Do you want to go ahead and constructives and unload?
This is undrawable.
All right.
Well, that's why he had AI do it. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh well, you know.
Oh no, is that for real?
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, if you gave me this to edit or draw, or in fact even letter, I would not take that job. Every panel has a sound effect for no reason. No one talks to each other aside from one panel.
Yeah.
For no reason. Our protagonist runs back and forth like an idiot for no reason. Some action is not even explained until after the art direction during the description of the sound effect for some reason. And the entire structure of both your writing and each page design is pointlessly overcomplicated and busy for what ultimately amounts to very, very samey stuff for some reason. So even as the reader, there is nothing in the page design that's here to keep my interest. Unless I'm just following, what's the next sound effect? That's what I'm here for. There is literally nothing for me to keep reading for the first while. And you haven't actually named any of the characters until page 8?
No. Ravina and the captain and KL, they all got pages on.
They all got names in the script. If I were reading this comic, there's only one character with a name.
That is true.
We don't know it's a sin of pride. It's a fucking voice that's also saying hum.
It's true. They're not addressing each other by name.
So we don't know who anybody is. We barely meet the protagonist, and he's just thinking at himself. Like, yeah, have you considered reading a comic before ever writing one?
Well, yeah, and the AI was for the concept art. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
or you
not
can.
gonna be-
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, good.
dude, look at a comic. Comics do not do what you have done in this script. There's a reason for that.
All right. John.
So that's my note.
Okay.
John? Yeah, the panels were heavily overwritten.
Yes.
And we didn't need 90% of what was in them. Like Danny said, look at a comic, pick up a comic, look at it, and actually I'm going to do something once we get and just visualize the panels on the page in your head and write what you see. That's it. It should be panel 1. This is what happens in the panel. We don't need you to tell us what's going to happen in the panel, then show us what's in the panel, and then remind us what just happened in the panel. Just tell us what's in the panel. And keep in mind that this is not a movie. You do not get 24 frames a second. You get 1 frame. And tell us what happens in that 1 frame, and that's all you get. Things do not flash in a panel. The runes don't go bright and dim in the same panel. You can't do that on paper. They've not invented magic paper that lights up like that.
He read Angel of Darkness as the script and the comic.
So yeah, so there's that.
That's it. You only read one.
What's all I need?
He's only read one comic in his life.
Okay. It's only read
And it was
one.
Angel of Darkness, Charlie.
Ow,
What
what issue?
Somewhere out there, there's a person.
I bet it was
who's
issue 1,
only
the original
comic
version.
exposure.
Yeah,
Reading one issue of Angel of Darkness. Congratulations, John Lamont.
Congratulations, John. You have written 100% of the comics this creator has read.
That's right.
You are his sole influence.
Wow.
You, sir.
Look at
are
him
an
blush.
influencer. How does that
I'm
make you
just
feel,
like,
John?
wow. That's
Take that, Stanley. Take that, fuck you.
Fuck Stanley. Fuck Jack Kirby.
yeah, just
Fuck
pick one.
Batman.
Oh. Alrighty. Well, thank you. I appreciate
Fuck you,
that.
Jack Kirby.
I mean, my artist didn't even do what was in the script half the time.
Yeah, that happened.
I mean, I read
That's half
your
the
script.
fun of writing comics.
Half the
Hell yeah.
time.
I mean, and honestly, half the time I didn't care either because what
It's
he
okay.
did was better than what I wrote. Like,
Yep.
like that's the way.
Well,
like,
then there
half
was the
the
other
time-
half the time.
Yes. But yeah, like that's part of the like Joseph was gonna say. That's part of the fun of comics is like I don't want to. Okay, yeah, nobody's
I
gonna.
mean,
really
Joseph
care.
has a different experience with that. He's had the terribly good fortune of being able to afford only competent artists.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, well, I've been struggling with how I was gonna do my character Longfu in dragon form, for like a year, and I just threw it to my artist, and he drew something that I had never thought of, and I was like, "That's really cool. I like that." So
Yeah, artists do that.
yeah. I'm like,
in general, that's what.
Then
and that's what I was going
creative
back
minds are
to
really good
saying,
at.
like with AI, where AI can almost hurt you, because I don't think an AI would ever have come up with what he came up with. And if I had done this and I know for a fact an AI would never have come up with what he came up with. And if I had done it as a reference with an AI and then gave that to my artist, we would have gotten that, and we wouldn't have gotten what we're going to get. And that'll be revealed in issue 2. But Yeah, no, I'm. That's kind of what I mean. Like sometimes they just come up with things, and it's great to have other feedback. So
Well, I mean,
don't
counterpoint. I mean,
don't-
you saw that blow up I did of that one piece Rutger posted that an AI produced, in which a clone of the protagonist is swimming through the pavement on a snowy street. A human being would never do that.
unless you gave that
Clearly, the robot is
unless
created.
you gave that to an artist and tell them draw that, then they're probably going to draw that.
Yeah.
But
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 you know,
my whole point is sometimes when you this script is so overly written that your artist is going to just read it and not know what the f he's supposed to be doing with it. Whereas I think if you are more simple in what your panel description, it'll give the artist the creativity to come up with something, and then they might just surprise you with what it looks like.
I mean, have you
I
considered
definitely
also
read the
using-
script out loud, because the amount of times we said it again while reading this proves just how repetitive it really was.
Everything's a fucking wide shot. I'm getting flashbacks tonight.
Oh no, Frontier Crucible all over again.
So we're going back to like what John says, like, my artist didn't even use like half my descriptions. Well, guess what? I was a storyboard artist, and guess what? The director did his thing, and it ended up worse than the storyboard.
I was,
So,
we watched a really old, very simple conversion of a stage play, quite frankly, Death Trap, with Christopher Reeve
and
Michael Caine. And there's a line in there. What?
Michael
Caine.
Michael Caine, yeah.
Michael Caine.
And Michael Caine gives a line where he's talking about how good a stage play was. And he gives the line of, and it's so clear and well written that not even a promising, accomplished director could mess it up. So there you go.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
And I'm like, oh, that line is spicy. That's some spicy writer lines right there.
It was.
That is a spicy writer line.
So the director can't mess the fuck up.
Yeah,
He said, can't fuck it up.
I mean, there are things that are very difficult to fuck up based on how they're written.
Yeah.
Yeah. They find a way, though.
They do.
Oh, absolutely.
They absolutely find a way.
It is one of the joys of
Let's
my
talk about the
profession.
emotion of this scene. Why is everything in a wide shot? Fuck!
I mean, but you know, at least you've got the wide, so you really clearly establishes what's going on.
Yeah. Yes.
I can see the background and no action in the character.
Yeah.
Let alone emotion.
And you know, who needs close-ups or medium shots or inserts?
There we
go.
Or, you know, to record all the dialogue.
I don't need to see your tears.
Who needs to record all the dialogue? Just get it the wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's a wild line? Fuck that.
All right. So we took a little Frontier Crucible detour, and now we're back at Coffee House of Doom.
All right. Let's well, we've all like read stuff, right? So Joseph, do you want to read your own script? Like
I might as well.
Is that like
Good
too
practice.
much for you if you want to take notes?
Oh, is this the
yes, Adventure. Do you want to read it, Diane?
Yeah.
Dan's gonna read it.
I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
I'm excited now.
All right.
Ooh.
Is that
Actually,
good
give me
enough?
1 second, because I do want to take notes. Let me get a
Okay,
piece
yeah.
of paper out here.
I'll do this. You read.
Okay.
Okay.
Page 1, panel 1, splash page on our main cast. To the left is Martin, the dorkiest dork that ever dork. A young kid. He wears black framed glasses taped together in the rim, complete with a white button dress-up shirt and a pocket protector. To his right stands the Creepy Crew, a gang of goth misfits, ripped straight out of a Hot Topic ad. Standing proud in the center is Carmilla. She's a tall, slender black woman rocking a purple leather corset, tucked into her tight black jeans. Her hair is done up in a Ordango style. Two poofy balls on the top of her long flowing black hair going down past her ass. To Carmela's right stands Fang. Tallest of the bunch, Fang has on a beat up military jacket, probably shoplifted from the local Goodwill. Their knees stick out from the holes of their beat up blue jeans, but what they lack in fashion, they make up for body art. Above their right eyebrow is a sick ass scythe tattoo with the wooden stem going down past their eye. Over on the left is Melissa, short and a bit of a wide load. She has winged eyeliner and a green mohawk, complete with a trip pants from the 2000s.
Damn right she does.
Okay. Behind them looms Creepy Manor, a derelict Gothic mansion painted white with purple trim. Who wants to do Carmilla?
You're late, dork ass. We just missed 420.
Martin.
I did Martin last time, so John should do it.
All right.
No need for name calling, Carmela. My name's Martin. You know I hate it when you call me that.
Not as much as we hate dorks, right, Fong?
Getting major narc vibes from this guy. Page 2, panel 1. Reveal a boardroom standing in front of a frumpy bald man in a tan suit that's on way too tight. Behind him are all the panels from the comic tacked onto the wall. Pitman.
I'm telling you, goth mommies are all the rage these days. Put a few of them in our PSA, and it's bound to go viral. The kids will love it.
Panel 2, reverse shot. Revealing a group of white men, all bald, all old, all wearing identical suits that are on the same color as the walls. Each of their heads is shaped like eggs. In the very back is the boss, much older than the rest, but covered in shadow.
Back in the 90s, we would have a guy swing a few pans around in a kitchen and call it good. Costed $20 and got the point across. This shot alone is going to cost us thousands.
I would like for
You didn't
Danny
have a
to read
guy.
Pitchman's
You had a
next line.
hot chick.
The original
I
one from the 70s was the guy.
And I remember that hot chick because I had a crush on her.
So
And then she died of a drug overdose.
Did she really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, John, you have so many problems.
Wow. Panel 3, Pitchman sweats, trying to smile through the criticism.
The price for a drug-free America.
Hoo-ha. Panel 4, close up on the boss, the baldest, fattest white man that has ever existed. He sits Gino style, fingers interlocked, elbows on the table, light reflecting off his circular glasses.
This is your only chance to impress us. Keep going.
Panel 5, extreme close-up of the boss's face, his eyes bloodshot, his face one roll of fat under another.
Like your life depends on it.
Panel 6, Pitchman points at the panel tacked to the wall.
Right, of course. Remember the big spooky house from earlier? Well, after they break in.
Page 3, panel 1, inside the spooky manor living room. The crew sit on a Gothic Victorian, capitalized, era furniture. Thick cobwebs and dust cover every inch of the room. Long black candles burn on the table in front of them. Martin.
What's
No,
up,
it's
Sigma?
John, Martin.
What's the Sigma? We could get in so much trouble if anyone finds us.
Martin's got a
Oh, I
point.
think I was
Yeah,
playing
you were
right.
bang, yeah.
Martin's got a point. No one invited us in. That's against the rules.
Not funny.
It was kind of-
Joseph, be Carmela.
All good parties start with a little B and E. The real fun hasn't even started.
Panel 2, Melissa holds up a baggie full of pot in one hand while making devil horn gestures with another.
This feels like a thrill kill cult song.
I know, doesn't it? Doesn't it? The tip of her tongue is a rainbow, starting with orange, then green, then blue, then normal pink.
Oh no, it's that. Da, da, da.
Weed, ganja, Dracula dust, Orlok one-hitters so strong you'll have a full-blown ego death from one puff. Literal devil lettuce, because Satan is my plug.
Panel 3, close up on Martin in panic.
Drugs? I gotta get out of here. If we get caught, then they'll send me away forever. I'll never survive in prison.
Panel 4, close up of Carmilla's mouth as she licks joint papers, her teeth razor sharp. I don't know who Carmilla is. Wasn't that Joseph?
That was Joseph.
I think it was me, yeah. Don't chicken out now, dork ass. The party's just about to start.
Panel 5, POV shot of the creepy crew, all holding various drug paraphernalia. Carmilla holds a glass drab rig. Melissa holds a soda can with smoke coming out of it, but Fang is nowhere to be seen. The background darkened and their eyes lit up, and they should look like a creepy crew is offering their reader drugs.
You want to be cool, don't you?
Panel 6, close up on Martin, his fear now gone thanks to peer pressure. Two shadows loom over him as he reaches for the weed. Page 4, panel 1. Back to the boardroom. Pitchman stands back against the wall as a row of bald heads watch him. He smiles, sweat pouring down his face.
Any questions so far?
Yeah. Whose idea was to put you in charge of this project?
Panel 2, Pitchman frowns, trying to hide the pain in his eyes while the rest of the men laugh. The boss sits at the end of the table, unimpressed.
I volunteered because, believe it or not, I actually believe in this stuff. Just the other day, I found this under my son's bed.
Dun, dun, dun. Panel 3, Pitchman pulls out the baggie. Inside is a rolled joint.
And I know I'm not the only parent that has to deal with this epidemic. My only son, and he thinks it's fine to risk his life like this. So who put me up to this? Who cares? I'm the man who's up for the job.
Panel 4, the boss speaks up from the back of the room, his body cloaked in shadow, his glowing eyes visible. Pitchman sweats as the boss speaks.
Who's the boss? Do we have a boss? Am I the boss?
You're the boss.
Okay.
Yep.
Riveting speech, but where exactly are you going with this? How will you keep our most precious asset, the youth, off drugs?
You're also the pitchman.
I know. Great question. Fear. That's how. Spook them straight. Once the kids see this, they'll be so scared that they'll never try drugs a day in their life.
Panel 5, Pitchman sits still, sweat pouring down his head as he waits for the boss's approval. Boss sits in the corner of the panel, covered in shadow.
Fine then.
Panel 6, intense close-up of the boss, his eyes bloodshot, his skin looking as if it's about to fall from the bone.
Proceed.
Page 5, panel 1, close-up on a low-angle shot of Martin hitting the dab. His wide eyes are rainbows, like the color wheel of a crashing Mac. Panel 2, Martin exhales a puff of smoke. A huge puff of smoke. Through the smoke, we see the creepy crew, all smiles except for Melissa.
Wait, I thought we were only getting stoned tonight. He's higher than a kite. On the moon.
Joseph.
Oh, you're right. We're getting stoned. But for that to happen, he has to hit Mars first.
Oh, I get it now.
Panel 3, Melissa cheers as Martin takes a hit from the soda bong.
Careful. Hit it too. That's not cheering.
That's not.
Careful. Hit it too hard and you'll inhale metal. It'll shred your lungs from the inside out.
Try not to fuck with him too much. He'll believe anything you tell him.
Panel 4, Martin hunches over, his face a mix of sweat and pimple oil, red eyes, and he's on the verge of upchucking his guts all over the manor floor. Melissa sits next to him, legs crossed, with her thumb pointing towards the bathroom.
I don't feel so good. I think I'm gonna.
Bathroom's down the hall if you're gonna hurl.
Page 6, panel 1, left side of the panel, Martin bursts through the bathroom door, heaved over, clutching onto his stomach. To the right is a dirty toilet and a stand-up shower covered in mold. Everything on this page is from the mirror's POV, with each panel except for the last being the same shape and size.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna die. The drugs are taking over my system, and I'm really gonna die.
Panel 2, same POV and framing as Martin splashes water on his face. Ew, from the toilet?
Grandma's gonna see me in heaven and know her only grandson is a drug addict. I never wanted this. I gotta get the heck out of here. Oh gosh, now I'm swearing.
Panel 3, Martin rests his hand on the sink counter, looking into the mirror.
What was all this for? To impress a bunch of people that'll never like me no matter what I do? This isn't me.
Panel 4, Martin hears a bloop off page, and he looks in the mirror in front of him.
Huh?
Panel 5, cut to a tight close-up of Martin looking over his shoulder, no longer in the mirror POV. Have this panel on the bottom right as an insert. Martin looks over the shoulder, screaming at something off panel.
Ah!
Page 7, panel 1, Fang sits on the toilet, pants around their ankles, angry while looking at the terrified Martin. A little privacy would be nice. Panel 2, Martin runs out of the door in a panic. Fang screams from behind him, still sitting on the toilet. At least close the door! Martin.
Guys, am I Martin?
No.
No, John's Martin.
Oh, guys, something's wrong. Either I'm high out of my mind, or Fang's,
Panel 3, Carmilla licks her teeth. Melissa's mohawk is upright more than ever, her eyes glowing red. Both have long fangs coming out of their mouths.
A what?
Panel 4, Martin screams in terror, turning around to the front to run out the door. He just came in. The creepy crew smile behind them, teeth sharp with eyes glowing red. The black figure stands in front of Martin, most of it off panel.
Yeah, get away. They're gonna eat me.
Relax, dork-ass. We're not going to eat you.
Panel 5, Martin bumps into Fang. We're gonna smoke you! Panel 6, close-up of Martin's panic-stricken face. Page 8, panel 1, Carmilla's fangs sink into Martin's neck. Blood oozes out of the sides of the fresh wound.
Ah!
Panel 2, punch in on the bite wound, and Carmilla inhales smoke coming out of Martin's neck. Panel 3, Carmilla blows a smoke ring. Martin is on the ground, screaming out of pain.
Oh, I'm feeling it already. The fear adds an extra kick to it.
No, you can't do this to me.
Panel 4, wide shot of the vampires feasting on Martin. Carmilla has her fangs in Martin's neck. Melissa holds into Martin's right wrist with Fang on the left wrist, both inhaling smoke from the fresh bite wounds.
Ah!
Panel 5, close up on Carmilla smoking out Martin's neck. Her eyes now have the same color wheels effect from page 3. Panel 6, same type of close up for Melissa. Her eyes have the color wheel as she feasts from Martin's wrists in ecstasy. Panel 7, Martin lays on the ground lifeless, his skin sunken tight against his skeleton, all color from his skin now gone.
If I only never met these people. If only I stuck to my principles and never did drugs.
Page 9, panel 1. Pitchman stands center stage as each suit looks on in anger.
And that's it. My nephew's a real whiz on the computer. He can do the effects for free lickety split.
Panel 2, an employee stands up, his anger getting the best of him.
No way we're paying for all that, especially when it's the exact opposite that happens.
Excuse me?
Panel 3, angry employee screams while the rest of the bald suits watch.
Drinking someone who's high doesn't make us high, idiot. Smoking weed taints the blood. It makes you undrinkable to the rest of us.
Panel 4, employee stands in front of the crowd, each one confused or angry. The boss is standing up, his eyes now black with red dots for pupils.
Don't look at me like that. You know I'm right.
You did not just give away our only secret to an outsider.
Panel 5, Pitchman stands with his back against the wall, looking at the crowd in fear. They are all off panel, their shadows elongated over him.
Good joke, guys. Very funny. Maybe we can move on to the approval process and get the budget figured out.
Panel 6, everyone in the room is a vampire. Not like the vampires from fake commercials, but real vampires. They have black eyes and little red dots for pupils, all of them rail thin with long fangs protruding from their mouth. In the back of the room is Boss in his real vampire form, which is just a normal him, but with longer mustache and fangs.
Knowing what you know now, I cannot permit you to leave here alive. I can keep a secret. Put any NDA in front of my face and I'll sign it.
10, panel 1. Pitchman grabs the door handle, but in a classic horror movie fashion, it's locked.
Willikers, it's locked.
Panel 2, the vampires swarm Pitchman. He's surrounded, hands still on the doorknob. He thinks to himself.
Think your way out of this. What did he say before?
Panel 3, insert panel of Pitchman's eyes widening. He figured it out.
That's right, their real weakness.
Panel 4, Pitchman faces the crowd of vampires with a joint in his mouth.
Stay back. One hit of this and my blood is tainted, undrinkable, as you put it. Back away, foul beast.
Panel 5, a group of vampires look at the Pitchman in confusion. Boss stands in the center, more bat monster than human at this point.
Do you have a lighter?
Panel 6, reverse shot of Pitchman, joint still in his mouth.
Oh, fuck.
Panel 7, Pitchman faces the reader, screaming while the vampire line up behind him. His fate ambiguous, but one thing is for sure. His PSA will never get made.
All right. I think that's good. I think
it's so cute.
Yeah, it's good work.
So cute.
This is good work.
Thank you.
It's quite funny, actually. Yeah. I'm glad that you did the smoking Martin out, because that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So,
John.
Yeah, I like the changes. I thought the ending was funny. Nice little twist at the end. I thought it was like a twist on a twist, which I thought worked really well. Yeah, good changes were good.
Thank you.
I agree. The twist on a twist was quite successful. And now both of the stories have a twist ending. Yay!
yay!
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on constructives. I think it's fine.
Wow. Thank you.
Anybody will have to.
Danny's got some.
Yeah, this is overwritten.
Yeah.
You have way too many panels. You have too many panels where nothing really happens. You've got a bunch of dialogue where nothing really happens. I'm still pretty sure you're aiming for 8 pages.
I think it works at 10, but if you're telling me to cut it down to 8,
well, I think you're aiming for 8 pages, and
right.
Actually hitting your page numbers is an important part of doing comics.
Right.
Because print comes in multiples of 4 pages. And I know I'm your editor for this, but like there's stuff that can be trimmed down a lot, so you have fewer panels on a lot of your pages, or where there's a bunch of dialogue that wasn't really going anywhere that you could cut. I think it's very doable.
Okay.
And I would like to see that also, because that's your brief. Sorry, guys. For everyone else's edification, yes, 8 pages was in fact the brief before we all started writing. Joseph and I started writing our stories for this anthology. He got 8 pages this time, because his last 2 stories were 6. It was like 15 and 12,
something like that.
Yeah. So
I got stuck with the short, silly
hacksaw
one this
and
time.
Start cutting.
You got it. Do you have just like a specific example of what you think you can cut back on?
Hold on a second. I uploaded this, so I have a copy of it on my computer because I'm an adult.
Nice.
And
I guess we could talk about it like later. If
yeah, no,
really want to. We don't have to waste time now.
This is a good idea. Well, here's a good example. The transition to all of the spooky kids like offering the drugs to Martin in the PSA had like 2 unnecessary panels in it, like that whole page did, and you didn't need the shot of Martin at the end at all. You just needed them offering the drugs.
Okay.
Right? Like, oh, his eyes are open wide. Okay, that's a close-up. That means it has to be big. There's no dialogue there. It doesn't change anything. It's not any more of a cliffhanger. It's the same cliffhanger.
Because you could also just have a close-up of like them handing the drug to him.
Yeah, exactly. So why not remove that panel and have a bigger panel of them offering the drugs?
Offering the drugs, yeah, and it does.
And then the part where you killed Martin
on that line
was like, God, that was like 8 panels or something like that, and like you needed 4, maybe 5.
I would like everybody here's feedback, right, on how to specifically write this, or if there's a term for it. The way that I originally envisioned that page is we do one big drawing for all the vampires feasting on Martin, and then all the other panels, I guess they'd just be inserts, like stacked on top of that. So it'd be like the one big panel is the background that takes up the whole page, and then it's just a bunch of close-ups that surround it.
I mean, that could work. Sketch it out, see if it works.
Yeah. Is there a term for that at all?
I mean, it's a splash page with a bunch of inserts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Flash page with inserts.
But also there was a ton of dialogue on that page of like everyone talking about the stuff. Like you need like the close up of the one person smoking it, then the big shot of everyone just eating him, and then the shot of him being skeletal, being like, "Oh, I should never have done drugs." And that's pretty much what you need. Like, fine, the close-ups of everyone's eyes turning weird are nice, but like you only need to have one of the vampires facing the camera in the scene in the bigger art to do the same thing. So you don't actually need a separate panel for that.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so it's like that kind of thing. Just be like, hold on, do I really need that? Is this action really necessary? Do I really need this line? Can I make this line shorter? All that stuff. Because like fewer lines means you can get away with smaller panels. But if you're sticking like a ton of dialogue in there, like you need bigger panels.
And I can always cut back on dialogue.
So if you were to use like standard like screenwriting script format for dialogue, that's the size of the block that you're going to need for your dialogue on the page, pretty much. Right? So, I mean, it's a good way to guesstimate it at any rate. So yeah, like that's one thing to do, but like, yeah, dialogue's expensive in comics, and close-ups are very, very nice, but they need to be like the most dramatic moments. So maybe some of it's solved by like putting the layout in your script. That's one way to do it. You can use like underlines and square brackets and that sort of thing, and the pipe symbol, and like just draw it yourself, like in an ASCII format, or just like, you know, go through. I mean, you've made comics before. You know what the output looks like, and you know, I don't know if you remember, but I mean, certainly there's a whole bunch of times, because I've worked with you on this stuff, where like you've written a whole lot into a page, and I'm pretty sure your artist has just gone off and done something completely different because like it's too much detail in panels that are too small, right? Or like your page count was off. Like I can, like Lure had like an entire page of that. That just like was in the script and never got done. So like it, yeah, like when you've got an actual page limit, you've got to actually, you know, pay someone for that and stuff like that. Like that is a big concern in the comics.
No,
you want to have lots of details, and I think there's a degree to which you do. I've got an idea of who your illustrator is likely to be, of course. You want to have like big detailed panels, and so that actually works to your benefit in terms of the storytelling. And you can also put like extra panels as like Easter eggs in the background of like the
boardroom scene.
Of the boardroom scene, like if you really, really want to. But yeah. I think cutting 2 pages isn't very hard. I think cutting 2 pages and making it a bit more efficient is kind of hard, but very achievable, like off of the top of my head.
I wouldn't really call it hard. Yeah, I think this is just going to be another solid pass through and have something even better.
I think it's likely to be. Certainly you'll tighten up the dialogue a lot as a result of that. So, and then, you know, if that's not working, we have a copy of this draft and we just like put some of it back. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're adults. We can throw money at this problem if we want to. So yeah, those are my suggestions at any rate.
Yeah, and those are all good. I agree with those. I think it would be better if it is 8 pages and then just make the dialogue way punchier, to the point.
All right. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything.
That is everything. We did a thing. Go
We
team.
did 4 scripts.
Yeah.
I have some questions for the panel, if I am allowed.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
The jokes landed. Y'all thought those were funny?
I mean, you heard me snirk, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Seems solid. I liked it. I mean, like, it's funny that he's trying to find a way to grab a lighter, and then he's like, "Oh damn," you know.
It's like, oh fuck, and I was like, I actually like
Yeah, that was a really good twist.
that was actually a really, I legitimately laughed at that. So
And I saved the only actual curse word for the very end there.
yeah.
Because like the over the top like dialogue is written by him, and it has all like these goody two shoe words in it. And then at the end, when he's finally dying, that's when we let out the only like.
We're also doing, you know, a strong PG-13, and we get 1 swear word per story.
Yeah.
We can censor it out or whatever, you know.
I mean, I don't think we need to. I think it's a.
You don't need to. It's PG.
I think it's a totally sensible swear word to have when the murder you and eat you. Oh fuck is a fine thing to say.
I mean, it could be fudge. That works. Oh, fudge. You know.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
that's
it's
fudge.
That's fun.
yeah, but that was the pitchman who said it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Pitchman doesn't have.
The pitchman's very square. You know. He's
Have
the
fun,
guy
Rutgers.
crusading against drugs. He really believes that. He could go off fudge. Anyway.
Oh.
His kid smoked weed. Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're here, actually, in terms of logistics, I am basically working on set for the next 3 weeks.
You go, Danny.
So I am not likely to be able to make it until the last week of February.
3 weeks. That's a big engagement. Oh, hopefully
It's actually 2 shorts and a long.
hopefully you're getting paid.
I'm getting paid for all of these.
Look at you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually able to make a living out of my trade.
Is the Frontier Crucible credit working out okay?
I mean, it hasn't really come up, but I know for sure that the director of the first short I'm doing is going to be damn impressed I worked with Jav.
There you go.
Because that guy loves his action. So that's going to be great. And then, so and then after that, I'm doing like a very Jim Carrey-esque comedy short
Yeah.
that like it has to rely on facial expressions. So I'm really excited about that one.
Yay.
And then I'm doing a soap opera
Awesome.
Awesome.
because I like paying rent.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll see everybody. I don't know. Maybe not next week. We'll see. Well, I mean, if we get some scripts, we could go on without Danny. It could just be me, Diane, and John, or not. I don't know. Maybe
Joseph could still come back.
he could, but he's not going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
I mean, you're only here because Danny fed you the link, and if Danny's not here, then we don't have
I
anyone.
mean, I can give him a link to the Discord.
Preston, John, we could all connect somewhere else.
I'll send him a link.
Yeah,
to
there's
the
this Discord that I'm in.
I
I'm going
have
to
some
invite
scripts.
them.
Okay. All right.
I have some scripts that are pretty legendary in my inner circle.
Okay.
Written by a very enthusiastic young man who I will block out their name, but
Okay.
I would love to put these by you guys. Okay.
Like,
Sure, yeah,
are they
bring
terrible? Am I going to miss the terrible scripts? I love terrible scripts.
These are legendary in my inner circle, but I would love
Are they
to.
like, Ebony Raven Darkness Dimension way terrible?
Are they vigilantes terrible?
Yeah.
You guys never had to sit through Aaron's pirate scripts.
They
but
were
John
the
did.
best.
Those
They were the best.
I
I miss Aaron so
do
much.
too. She was great.
Okay. They're all short films. They're like 3 pages apiece. They're all terrible, right?
Okay.
One of them is essentially fan fiction about me specifically,
Neat.
because this was a guy that I went to film school with, who, when he found out that I do not smoke pot, it broke his brain. So he had
Wow.
to write a short story about him and I hanging out and smoking weed together.
There you go.
His wishful thinking.
I mean, but you could say it's wishful thinking, but I would say that who's that big British comic writer who's not the big British comic writer?
Ben Elliott.
Oh, Neil Gaiman, my favorite.
No, not Neil, not Alan, not Gaiman. The bald one.
Bald one.
All right, fine. I forget who it was, but he talked about he believes in magic too, a bit like
Alan Moore.
Not Alan Moore. Anyway, Alan Moore's not Paul, but
Well,
Alan Moore's like the opposite of bald, isn't he?
Well,
Anyway.
it's all beard, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if he has hair elsewhere.
Okay.
All I can see when I look
But
at
he was talking about like creating comics is a form of magic, and that like the things you visualize and the things you put together, particularly if you have a character that's a self-insert, if you put that character in a situation or something happens, like he put a character that was self-insert that got in a car wreck, and like he got in a car wreck and got paralyzed, and he talked about be careful of what you put in your comic, kids, because that stuff's going to happen to you. It's magic, so
that is magic.
That is magic. Yeah,
that's exactly how magic works.
Yes.
So I need to start putting myself into my own comics to realize what.
Yes.
I do not want to read your personal self-insert fan fiction for so many reasons.
Danny, please. Our next title has to be a titty comic, and it has to star me.
There's
Fine, I'll showcase your titties in a comic, Joseph.
Thank you, and make sure I have 6 of them like a cow.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard from a coworker of mine who used to work for CBCS, and she used to have a coworker who worked for the comic book grading company, and she said that his writing was so bad. She's like, I read one of his comics.
Are you talking about Grant Morrison?
Yeah, Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Like I had to think of a British guy that was bald that did comics, and I had to think for a minute.
There you go.
Wasn't his Animal Man like really good though?
Yes, he is very good.
I didn't say it was bad.
Yeah, he is very good. But yeah, he's also like out there.
Yeah, he believes in magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's just like, but he also meanders like crazy.
Sure. But anyway,
so do we.
Yeah, but she was relaying that this guy wrote a comic book where basically all of the comic characters were hot women who were having a conversation with him like his literal self-insert describing how they wanted to have sex with him, and then he screws all the characters. And she's like, and that was the comic. She's like, it was horrible. I'm like, I could see that. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Yeah. Let's put a Gary Steele in this. Boom.
Preston, didn't we read a script, or maybe we just talked about it? Maybe it was the same thing, where the dude was basically Superman, or was that the same one? Where he had like superpowers, and again, like every girl wanted to get with him or something, but he was basically like. Was it the
there
same?
Was Super Harem, but that was like it's an old Comicsgate comic called Super Harem. But
that's like every manga I read.
Yeah, where basically this guy this guy's seed granted superpowers to the women he was with.
That's what I think it was.
Super Harem. That's the one you were thinking of. Yes, there you go.
Yes. And I think
like
he had a cape and wore tights too. Like he was an actual superhero.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something like that. They were fighting crime and whatnot.
I mean, he has time to fight crime with that other problem.
Anyway. All right, everybody. Well, next week we may have a stream. I guess we'll find out who's going to come.
All right. Well, I'll send Justin an invite to the Discord.
All right, cool. Take care. All right, good night.
Thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Like hell comes to Frogtown.
There you go.
That's what it sounds like.